Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. It's Brianna Ray from BriIY here to bring you a completely finished project that I'm now going to go back and try to explain to you how I made. So last year I did make something similar to this. This is kind of my follow-up because what I made last year was a custom board game. I went to Goodwill, I found a Guess Who game, and I was telling a friend of mine, hey, I've seen online that people will swap out like the people so that it'll be like The Office Guess Who, or what I did was Avatar The Last Airbender Guess Who, and she recommended that I do that with our friend group and create a friend group version of Guess Who. And specifically to kind of make it a little bit more branded, I did it with a theater company that I do some theater projects with around me. So I decided this year, coming around that same time frame, I didn't have a great follow-up gift to how amazing that one was last year. We love it. We play it all the time. It always brings us joy and laughs, and it's just such a good time. And I wanted to do something, not necessarily to top it, but to, at the bare minimum, be as good as it. And as I was talking through my ideas with a friend, I finally came up with a solution. Dun, 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 dun. We have this time around, and I'm actually trying to flatten out the board a little bit because for some reason it's like really crooked and angular. It is our version of Candyland. So I'm going to kind of take you through all the pieces and parts that I have in here. I have some B-roll, frankly, of me making all of these things, and I'm just going to tell you how I made each and every piece, and hopefully this will inspire you to maybe do something like this of your own. So let's first start with the game board. I got all of the extraneous pieces such as the game board, and you'll see also the player piece stands. I got this by, again, going to Goodwill and seeing what was available. I was looking for Candyland originally. They didn't have any Candyland, but what they did have, and what I used here, was like a Paw Patrol board game. And I have this awesome sticker paper that just you run through a printer and then you can peel it off, and that's how I made the board. I went into Canva and I designed the entire board, and I wanted it to kind of have this like childlike kind of watercolor look that was almost like Chutes and Ladders-esque. So all of these designs are actually custom as well. Using Canva's new AI tool, I was able to go in and create elements like these by typing in things like red-headed dude in a chair taking notes. And this is what it gave me. And I tried to keep everything in like the watercolor style. That's how I made sure it was all at least somewhat similar. But yeah, and then it would pop this out, and then I would do, a brunette kid singing in front, or big guy with a beard at the piano, and I kind of tried to model it after a lot of my friends, and that's exactly what I did. So I created, instead of places like the Peppermint Stick Forest and Gumdrop Mountains and the the Ice Cream Palace, I created sort of a road to opening night, everything that has to be done for us to get to the show. So we have auditions kind of here at the start, music rehearsals, dance rehearsals, our promotional photo shoot, cue to cue, and then final dress rehearsal before you finally get to opening night. And for this, I actually took the legitimate building that we do our shows in, or at least a lot of them, and I ran it through a style changer and put it in like a watercolor style. It's a little bit standout, but either way, I thought it looked decent. And so I removed the background on those. I actually just went into the elements section and found like a board game. These had numbers in them. There's 50 spaces in here. I actually just kind of covered over them with like little same colored circles because I didn't like the way that it looked with the numbers in it. I wanted it to be blank. So I did that. Just popped this in here, added a background, put all these, photos over top of them. I added in these arrows to kind of create the bridges that you see in Candyland as well. And I was able to just print all of this out using the poster setting in Adobe Acrobat. So it kind of laid it out for me, even since it was a little bit bigger than your regular A4 size paper. And I just lined it up and flattened it out nice and pretty. I did make it a little bit small. I had a really big issue with the sizing, but I was able to go back around with a black Sharpie marker and color in all of the edges to kind of give it that finished look. And it's not perfect, but again, just for something that I'm doing with me and my friends, I thought this was really good, and I think it turned out pretty great, all things considered. So I was very pleased with the way that the board came out. Next, I have this little bag, and it's messy towards the bottom, but it's not horrible looking. You can still tell what it's trying to say. It just maybe looks a little old and worn. But I had these old velvet bags, I think, from a time I bought crystals not too long back. And I just kind of hoard little bags like this, specifically for occasions like now when I need them. But I figured this would be a nice way to keep track of all of the pieces and cards, just to make it look a little bit nice. When I peeled off the like gold HTV that I put this on with, and I just used my Cricut to cut out the design, weeded everything, slapped it down, ironed it on, but when I pulled it off the first time, all of the velvet came with it. And at first I was like, oh, maybe I'll just leave it. And then I was like, no, I want the gold real bad. And then I committed to the gold, and I wish I would have just left it. But the gold is nice, I'm not gonna lie. And it kind of matches some of the other pieces I have inside. But yeah, this was just some HTV on this velvet bag. I also printed off just on a single sheet of paper. I also designed this in Canva, the rules, the directions, and how everything works. If you land on a space with an arrow, you must follow the arrow. Pull a card from a stack, follow directions to determine where and how you move, and at the conclusion of your turn, the player to your right will take theirs. I even did something like the company that I work with is the Millennial Theater Company, so the person whose birthday is closest to June 1st, 1988, which is right in the middle of millennial years, is the person who gets to go first. So yeah, I have that's how I made the directions, super simple and easy. Now let's talk about my favorite part, which is the player pieces. I was so excited about these. I was trying to think of traditionally like what in Candyland the player pieces look like, and usually they're little gingerbread men with that are red, yellow, green, and blue. And I thought, you know what else is red, yellow, green, and blue? Heathers. And that's actually a theater production that the company has done before. So I actually designed all the little heathers using that same AI tool after our characters. I said 80s style, teen girl with blonde hair, red bow, red blazer, black plaid skirt, high socks. And I was able to create these. And what I did is I printed these guys out on that same sticker paper facing two directions. So I had one that's, this Heather Mack, which is modeled after me, is facing to the left. And when you flip her, she's facing to the right. So I made sure I had a flipped version of each of these, printed it out on sticker paper, cut them out, and slapped them onto a piece of chipboard. From there, I cut around the shape, just kind of made some nice rounded edges. I did kind of file some of it down with some filing with a nail file, and that was really it. I just sticked it on both sides. I really tried to line it up with like a light behind it to make sure that they were pretty even on both sides. And I used these little tabs at the bottom to kind of hold them upright. And after that, I added, we have a friend in our group who always said he wanted to be a Heather, so he decided he was the purple Heather, so I did model a purple Heather after him, and then just added another, teen boy in orange to kind of have a full rainbow of characters to select from, since we usually play in larger groups. But I liked these the most. They did bring me a lot of joy. Finally, and what I thought was the most time-consuming and the most frustrating, was all of the cards. Oh my goodness. So in the game of Candyland, that was unfortunate. In the game of Candyland, usually you draw a card and it'll give you colored blocks. So, there's going to be like a whole rainbow of colors in here, and it'll give you like a single like periwinkle square or two pink squares. And what you have to do in Candyland is then go ahead that many pink squares. Now, I wanted a little bit fewer spots to jump on because I wanted to be able to move forward and backward. So I honestly just kind of started writing out ideas for moving forward and moving backward, and I tried to make them personal memories between me and my friends. I even reached out to other friends. You could see at the bottom that I had certain things that were submitted by certain people. A lot of them were submitted by me, evidently, because I made the game. But, I had a lot of different friends try to submit a couple of different options for these. That way we had some fun and creative options. So, Dustin spells Joe's last name correctly, move forward 1 space. Bikini Bottom Boogie happens with little to no injury, move forward 2 spaces. And then I have some where you move back, or some where you move, like this one. Ben tries really hard to be a steamer made of breadsticks. We had an improv day, and we were on this forever because Ben just would not do anything else. He would kind of roasted himself with this one. Stay in your current place so you don't get to move forward. The cow goes over the moon, maybe a little too far, stay in your current space. And I got this one from our friend Natalina. And I also have these cards, and I used the same designs from these to mark where you would move to specific places on the board, the starred spaces. The wrong light cube goes, move back 1 space. And all in all, I started with about 64 of these. By the end, I think I had about 80. And all I did was I printed these out on regular cardstock. I used my label maker to create these like gold sparkly labels. I love the way that these looked, and called it, you know, the Millennial Theater Company, The Road to Opening Night. That's the name of the game. And this is why I wanted the gold on the front so badly, because look at how nice that is. It like matches. It's so nice, and it's so glittery. I absolutely love these labels. But yeah, and I stuck these on the back of every card, laminated them. Shocked that these these thermal paper labels didn't like get totally black when I sent them through the laminator. So fun fact, you can do that. But yeah, laminated them, cut them out, and then we all got here. And of course, once I'd run them through the laminator, I was like, oh man, they're all laminated. So you know what I can do? I can have dry erase cards. And that's what I did. I did, in fact, make some dry erase cards. Yours and Daniel's costume vision aligns perfectly. They all say write your own in the bottom, you know, move X amount of spaces. There's blanks. I threw a couple of other ideas in here. And tried to, the other thing too with this was making sure that I had more move forward spaces than I had move back spaces, because that otherwise realistically no one's going to be able to win. But yeah, so I packed all these in, and I added in just like a, you know, a simple marker so that we'd be able to add these in. I put in the directions that you should use the early stages of the game to have everyone write in a new memory. That way it's a little bit different every time, and the game can kind of grow with us as we get more memories and more things. I can always make new cards, or we could always, you know, use the dry erase cards. And yeah, in the end, everything just kind of slaps into our baggie here, and we're at any given point ready to game and kind of relive some of our favorite memories together. There were certainly parts of this that I liked a lot better than the version I made last year with Guess Who. Last year I painted everything, and I did use the sticker paper, but I cut out a lot more tiny pieces and had to line everything up. It just wasn't as enjoyable, I thought, last year, because I was so stressed out making kind of things last minute and making up things as I go. I had a lot clearer of a plan going in this time, and I was able to get help from my friends, which in a way I actually thought made it a lot more personal. So yeah, that's the whole game that I made this year for my friend's birthday. I'm giving it to him this weekend. By the time you're seeing this video, I've actually given it to him the day before. So here's hoping that he likes this one and likes the packaging this time. But yeah, that was all. I hope you feel inspired to try something new today, to build a board game, to make something personal for you and your friends. And with all that said, thank you so much for watching. If you like what you saw, feel free to like and subscribe. I do put out new videos every Sunday at noon Eastern Standard Time, and I would love for you to be here for the next one. Thanks again so much, and I hope to see you then. Bye!